like it used to. Alright, we're live on Restream. We're live on YouTube. And I believe we're live on Twitch. And I have to mute that on. Alright. And let me know if anything doesn't work right. And let's hope this chat works as well. Hey Mark, how are you? It's been a while, huh? I'm gonna do this proper, so in case I need to interrupt and continue at another time, I'm gonna have this on a branch. So let's make sure everything is clean. What version are we on? 0116, all right. So, create a branch, new feature branch based off version 011166.6 plus settings groups. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. So currently we're in this situation. So what I need to do is I need to make sure it works top to bottom, left to right, and for SudokuPad, the app as well. So we got to make sure we change as little on the low level and try to push it as high level as possible. So two places I want to look at. I want to look at where the settings are being created, which is generally here. I want to check where the defaults are being set, which I believe is here, where it probably shouldn't be. To be fair, the setting defaults probably should be applied with the settings themselves. And how the settings themselves are being handled. So for example, I know there's a whole bunch of settings for tools. And you know, the tools generally use some of the tools create, there's like a add tool, remove tool, make tool toggler, right? So this generates a setting. So this is basically sort of the minimal work required to create a setting. And of course, things, the question is, do the groups go in the things, or are the groups a separate thing? You know, does a tool say, hey, I'm a tool, I should be in the tool group? Or is there a separate piece of data that says, here are your groups, right? And these are what is in each group. And the problem is basically, as I'm adding new things, where does the data go about the group of the thing? Generally, ideally, it would be part of the thing, right? And then the question becomes, do we have more than one kind of tag, right? You know, because the visual grouping might be different from a structural grouping, right? Just, you know, you might want to squeeze something in because it, for the user, makes more sense to be grouped with something else, right? So in other words, you know, do we add groups to all of these and everywhere else these things are being created? So let's have a first let's have a look at this part, right? Because these guys eventually end up make tool togglers. So these tools are being added by add tool. Add tool does these things. They don't of course they don't automatically. Actually, this has nothing to do with the settings, right? They don't automatically get settings. Interesting. So this isn't actually related to the settings. Now, something like, let's say, the killer calculator creates a setting. And how does it do that? It manually adds a setting here. And this is similar to these guys, right? So let's have a look at these things side by side. So this is an individual setting, and this is, so this data should really be related to this here. So we have the name, the toggle, the content. And to be fair, this is more or less what goes into create element, right? This is literally a create element configuration. So this was that, and now you send me a screenshot. That screenshot isn't here in this version yet, I guess. Let's have a look at that as well. Actually, let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. So let's see. You put nice icons there. Obviously, it would be nice to have icons like that. Input tools. I guess that makes sense. So let's just throw something in there. Because what I want to do is I don't want to structure this with the settings in here. I want to be able to add an individual setting with a group applied to it and not have it to be kind of, you know, retrospective. So let's have a quick look at add settings. There's only 3 groups which cover all setting categories. Yeah, but like I obviously don't want to shoot myself in the foot. I want this to be, you know, independent basically. So it can be whatever we want it to be. So a new thing can just say, hey, I'm in this setting, and if the setting doesn't exist, it automatically in this group, it automatically creates a group for it, right? I wish this had a better way of toggling, deep toggling like this. So add settings, it really just pushes stuff into here. And then show settings, it's very primitive actually. It literally just maps these here. So I'm guessing in your code, the problem is with your code, I can't diff it because it's not a branch on my thing, so I can't get a compare. Let me see if I can maybe get a compare after all. So I can get a kind of an idea of what you've changed. The problem is you've changed more than just the settings. You've changed the version, so there's a lot of, so I can't. Is there a way of diffing it against the version without the settings in it? Because I hope you didn't have to change 24 files to get the settings in there. Yeah, the killer calculator here is here. Is there a way of diffing purely on the settings? Like do you have a main branch that's up to date? Because main seems to be out of date. Yeah, there's lots of noise in here, so I can't really just look at what you've done that applies to the settings. Framework, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, there's a lot of changes in here that have nothing to do with it. Okay. So, and let's have a look at up settings as well. Yeah, you see, I want to avoid this because I want to be able. No, wait, sorry, I'm talking about my butt. No, yeah, exactly. That's how. Yeah, you're right. No, that's how I want to do it. All right, let's just try this. And ideally, it should support grouped and ungrouped. But how do you define the other parts of the grouping, like the icon and the order? Or is it just, no, the icon needs to come from somewhere. Yeah, you see, this I don't want to do this. Like, framework should not contain data, right? Framework is a very low-level tool library. So, let me check what groupings you used here, just to content large. So for example, no, this says, oh, okay. I hate that it doesn't just mark this as a div. All right, so let's see. So large digits, yeah, it's not really a tool. Dark mode, keypad, multicolor. Multicolor is a tool here. Yeah, I guess so. So let's just do this. And then, for example, with the calculator as well. Oh. Did I put that in here? Wait a second. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Did I already have this in here? I already had group in here. When did that happen? Huh. The heck? All right. All right. Well, so how are we gonna handle groups here? So you had to do a bunch of handle group toggle. Okay, well, I'm not gonna worry about that. Right now, I'm just gonna worry about identifying groups. So ideally, it should work both with groups being added at a later stage and items being added to existing groups at a later stage. So ideally, it can kind of pull something in and out of a group. Now, on a practical matter, it's probably easier to just well, I'm rebuilding the dialog anyways, right? So it's just a question of organizing things here. Do you have a dialog class? What's that? Settings change. All right, so add settings parts equal. So everything that's in parts here. And where's the end of this array? This is the end of the map. And we're adding these at the end, and then we go there. All right. We're gonna move that out of there. We're gonna move this here. Then we're gonna do this settings parts. And we don't need object assign here, I don't think so. No, yes, we do, Okay, so we have parts. And then this, we're gonna add to settings. Settings parts.push. All right. I guess this is short enough to be one line now. So this is similar. I don't know why you have a dialog class there. I hope that's not necessary. Okay. So this is step one. Gonna have to do a little bit of refactoring here. Right. So step one. Step two, we're gonna get some intel on this. For now, we're just gonna unwrap this a little bit here. Object assign this, 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 and this. These three items. And then we're closed. All right. Let's put that out here. Let's have a look at it as well. Or we get in there. Right. And now we should be able to just find the groups. So we probably want to do something like, actually, let's just do it in here quickly. So we want to do this map group right, and then we'll do a new set, get a unique list, and we probably want to map dot filter boolean, wait, group map filter set tools. All right. So I'm gonna do let groups equals this. And then this, we're gonna do dot map group. I mean, this might be a bit wasteful. Dot filter. Group name. And then group. Won't inject the grouping definitions, including the icons, into show settings. Yeah, exactly. So the idea is then it'll basically create a default one. So it'll just, hey, oh, there's a group called tools. Let's capitalize it and let's have no icon. And then later on we can modify, set a separate set of group settings. But it means that a new a tool, an external tool, I'm thinking future plugin stuff, right? So that means that a future tool could define a new group, and it wouldn't have to care if the group exists or not, And it would create that group if it exists or not, And we could have somewhere else define if we allow groups or not as either. So, random plugin tools couldn't generate a million groups by force if we choose not to. Group equals group name. Right? And bada bing. So that should give us this. And now to make sure it's realistic, let's add a second group as well. So I'm guessing large digits would be visual, right? And dark mode would be visual. Flip keypad, I don't even know. Usability. Hide colors maybe, visual. Digit outlines, visual. Yada, yada, yada. Refresh. And so now we should get this, but we actually want the undefined group as well. So let's not filter it out. And now we'll get this. And on top of that, let's just color code this. Let me know if things are too small or big or whatever. I haven't streamed in a while, so I forget. Oh man, it's funny how quickly things aren't second nature anymore. So we're mapping that to that. Actually, we don't want to map it. We want to reduce it. Right? We have the group name, groups, group name, object.assign groups, group name, this, and then we pass in an empty thing, right? That's how, does that look right to you? Nope. Nope. All right. Trying to do too much in too small of a space. Oh, because that needs to be like this and like that, like that. Nope. Filter. Yada, 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 yada. I think that should do the trick. So now we should have this. The problem is this will give it to us in the order that it's found. So we then want to explicitly resort it. That undefined is at the end. Right. How are we going to do that? I guess sort A, B. A equals undefined. And return 1. B equals undefined. Return -1. Will that do what I wanted to do? God knows. Probably not, actually. God probably doesn't know. JavaScript is complicated that way. Yes, wait. If A is undefined, yada yada, B equals undefined, then return -1, else return 0. Now, used sort is not a function. Guess that goes here. Yes. And now we should have two. Undefined is here again. God damn it. Yeah, it's because this thing doesn't. The reduce does not operate properly. What if I do object.keys on this? Would they be sorted? Yeah. So this representation isn't sorted correctly, but the keys are actually sorted correctly. And if I remove this, these won't be sorted anymore. Yeah. All right. So this does exactly what we want. Oops. Probably not the most efficient way, but for now. Now we can do this. All right. Right. All right, and now we're gonna output the groups. Wow, I haven't listened to this music in a week now. It's almost fresh again. Yeah, I haven't had a single patron since I stopped streaming. So the dialogue in the app, on the web app, has actually done 0, zilch, nada. Which is a bit sad. I was hoping for more. All right, so we have three groups. And we should be able to do this per group now. And I'm gonna turn this little thing into a function. So dot setting to lm. And it's basically gonna be the inside of this function, I guess. In fact, ops.name, guess. Guess we can just do this. And boom. Because now we can do this per group. So let's, instead of this, let's see how you did the group. Very simply. Oops. The group tag I don't think is required. Like it's literally just a thing with a thing, right? So, first of all, let's do this. Then we can do groups dot. I always have to look this up. Array prototype push. So I think we're just gonna have to do array. Ah, no, wait. I can just do this with destructuring. I can just do. No, what am I doing? What am I doing? That's not what I meant. This is what I meant. All right. Yeah, we don't have to do a prototype push anymore because we can literally just turn it into a list of things. Sweet, because now I can remove this line and I still have a functional settings dialog just without any settings in it. And now, let's try it if we can put some groups in it. So that should give us a row for each group, choose which was undefined. And now we should be able to push something in here. Something like these. And beep, 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 beep. And cool. And let's see if we can. Ooh, maybe if I do this. Ooh, why is this dialog in the wrong spot? Interesting. That doesn't resize correctly, but that's all right. It's good enough. Good enough for government work, as they say. And all I want to do is check that these have the right class. They do not. No, they do. They do. All right. And let me go back to my cheat sheet over here, courtesy of Mark. So, style. Did you? Yeah, I would like to start pulling these styles apart. So for example, settings has its own CSS file and stuff, and then we can always have like a. It's kind of hard to see what's actually changed here because I'm pretty sure none of this hasn't all changed. I hope it hasn't all changed. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to use these then. All right, so. I don't even know where settings are here. So setting item. Do I want group to be a type of setting item? Probably no. Probably not actually. So. But we probably want to do this just to stay a little consistent here. Can I? The problem is, does this work with color schemes? Yeah, color schemes aren't even implemented here. It's in, so it's kind of hard to test. Or Yeah, the color palette thing has to be done as well eventually. All right, let's just sort this out here quickly. So setting items, let's just steal some of the styling here. Mostly like that, I guess. Oh, I don't even know if I have implemented these as variables yet, which is like the least I could do. Should probably want to align that by the size of the button. All right, so get that. And I think you added a rounded corner to the top. You actually gave it a 3D box look, huh? Huh. Alright, now I'm starting to think, if we use... If we use a label for the group as well. So, something like this. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this then for now. I mean, for now, I think I'm saying for now a lot. So what if we do something like this? F dot create group, and we'll do name, group name. I'm just gonna do this name, and then settings. Like this. And we can do something like this. Just to have a same place to log out some stuff. Like this. And then here we'll do, for now, we'll do children. And the first one will be the label. I'll guess. Nope, doesn't like that. What did I do wrong? Group. Okay, I don't like this. I'm not used to this layout anymore. Framework is not defined. Index for a token. 400 class name chill. And what's wrong with this? Unexpected token in line 400. Children. Yeah. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. Here we go. Nope. Nope, still an idiot. Is it not typing this correctly? Tag label. What am I doing here? The heck? Argument list 17. Alright, now I push the error elsewhere. Create group. This. And these things are useful. Yes, they are useful. All right. That should get us to here. Okay. Interesting, actually. Ah, interesting. So these styles don't apply correctly anymore because we are in this setting group thing. Setting group items. And previously, how were they organized? Yeah, that's not helpful at all. Previously, they were organized like this. Come on. No, don't do that to me. There's something on my mouse pad, like a little grain or something. That's bugging me. Setting item. And here we have setting. They don't get wrapped into setting items anymore. Ah, because we didn't transform them here. Okay. We basically need to do this. Okay. Not quite. The setting to LM doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to do. Maybe I didn't save it. Yeah, that's not happening. I'm not seeing where I'm going wrong here. So if I do this, group name is not defined. Yeah, okay. So, group, visuals. The first argument is this array. There should be two. group tools, one array, two array, second array, first array. So the second array has this stuff in it. All right. Content, enable pen tool, handler, untitled, enable pen tool. Now, I feel like I've missed something here. Because where does the settings item class come from? Did I remove something that we need? Let's see if I can embiggen this a little. I removed this part. Actually, no, it's identical, right? So the setting item class came from where? Because when I look here, I have a setting item, right? Each of these is a setting item with an input and then a label, etc., right? While here, they have a title, a tag, and no class setting item. Where? Okay, that's from type toggle. That's terrible naming. That is terrible naming. That should not be like that. Also, the toggle is missing from here. So where exactly does it become a toggle? Handler, settings, value, ops, content. I don't see where in the previous code these got turned into a toggle. Or were they supposedly already toggles? Tag, toggle. Okay, they're already toggles. All right. So then why don't they get translated into setting items? That is confusing. One second. So tool, group items. You see, these are just the inputs. They're missing the rest of the stuff. The rest of the stuff is just missing. All right, well, let's just make sure this thing here. One second. This is the options that we're starting from, right? And then one of these should be some of these with the identical stuff, right? So if I now run that through this code, so if I take, let's say, groups.visuals, or visual, and then map it to this, I should get a valid list of potential setting toggles. So setting parts, and I should get these 4, and these should be valid. They should have a name, a tag, toggle, etc. So if I then push these into setting parts, that should create a settings dialog similar to before with a subset of the items. And these should have the full thing. They have a setting item, the label, etc. Okay. So why does the setting item not work inside the group? So let's just do this with one. So let's do this. And settings is going to be this. Right? And that should get us this. So that should get us a setting group with that, and then the children should be the toggles. With the right tag, yada yada yada. Alright. So far so good. And now if I push that into the settings parts, like this, shouldn't that appear correctly? I feel like it should. Now, inside the input, shouldn't there be the labels and such? You see that? We've got a bunch of things. Here, we don't have a bunch of things. The things are getting lost. I have a feeling that toggle is actually not implemented correctly. So toggle, create element, setting item, parent. So let's see, console log toggle parent. I do this and have a look at these guys. Let me just check the other chat messages, see if there's anybody hanging out that I missed maybe. Nope, nobody's here. Just me. That's also fairly discouraging for streaming when, you know, nobody shows up. So, we're creating the parent. And then the element becomes this. What do we do with the... I mean, where does the parent go? Parent becomes this. Parent. And then the parent gets... We are appending to the parent. But here... The hell? And then the element becomes the input tag. Because at some point, we need to swap them around. The hell? Yeah, we're hoisting it up. All right, fair enough. This probably could have been done more elegantly, especially with using children, which I think wasn't implemented yet when I wrote this code originally. Did I not save this? Let's try it again. So we have parent. It's the setting item. And we probably want to output parent before we're overwriting parent. So we have parent. And then elem is the input. Okay. So, first parent is Oh, shoot. This only works if we pass in a parent initially. This kind of... Oh, no. Yeah, this kind of breaks some conventions here. Because it returns the inner element, not the outer element. Which is rubbish. This should be returning the parent. This hurts a little because this is a bad implementation actually. Hey Thomas. Thanks. Kind words, appreciate them. Oh man, do I fix this now though? This is old code and was badly implemented. This is before I had the children option. And for some reason I thought it'd be better if I return the inner element and not the wrappers. But of course that doesn't make any sense. You cannot just return arbitrary things, especially when the parent doesn't get passed in. Now I could change this to pass in a parent. And in fact... no, but I'm not doing that with these other guys. Wait, did I do it? Does the original code pass in parents? Parent. I don't actually... It must, because otherwise it wouldn't work, right? So in the original code, which is basically this these lines, right? Assign, show dialog, objects, assign parts. No. Then how the hell does that not also break? What the frick? Okay, I don't fully understand why one of these use cases breaks and the other one doesn't, and not both break. And I'm obviously doing something funky here. Does do I substitute one for the other eventually? So, wait. LM1 doesn't fire? Hide colors. Oh, because I'm also doing this nested, right? Of course, I'm nesting create calls. Yeah, this whole toggle thing should not be in here, really. It should be a separate call. I was trying to define sort of higher level components and manage them in the same way. But you can't really do this because I have to return an HTML element, and in a higher level component, you don't have an HTML element to return, not a clean one, right? React had actually a similar problem, if I recall. So LM1... LM1, LM2... Like, I don't even fully follow the nesting here, because I have nested calls to create element, right? What's the problem here is that this parent element, there's no way of assigning it to a new parent. One second. Parent needs to be passed in. I'm gonna need my old show settings back, so I'm gonna see if I can just bring it back from here. So we want these lines here. And then we want these lines here. And then we want these lines. Does that do it? No, it doesn't. Oh, wait, maybe. I want to get rid of this change down here. All right, so now I've just added these three things, which I can just ignore for now. Pretend they don't exist, right? So this is now back to the old behavior. Yeah, which works. The question is, why does it work? Because we're not passing in a parent here. So we have a toggle parent. 1, 2, 3, let's... Hey, Sotek, how are you doing? Oh yes, JavaScript. Ooh, joy. So parent 1. So it passes in dialog as the parent. And show dialog, create element. But we don't care about show dialog, we care about show settings. Show dialog. So it's because we're calling show dialog, and show dialog passes in a parent. So is the mistake that we were trying to unravel these? No. We don't have. So we have create group. Yeah, none of these have create elements call, so it should be just nested. So there should be a parent available, right? Oh, I think children get attached after the fact. They don't get the parent passed in. Ugh. Ooh. It's this. That's the problem. So if we change this to, instead of doing this, we'll do a object.assign parent. LM. Child, create LM for each. So this should still work now. All right. And if I get rid of these, which shouldn't be too spammy either. Have you had bad... Has JavaScript hurt you as well? Do you need a support group? So if we change this now... Now I don't know if that breaks something else that we've done elsewhere. What the heck? I mean, that's been fixed, right? But the dialogue sizing is obviously terrible here. Ooh. Ooh, what's going on here? Ah, yes. Oh, okay, okay. All right, it's just some styling now. So this obviously is all in the setting group label now. Like this. Can we do that? Immediate child? Is that a thing? Yes. And then we can do something like this. Now the background color you did with the gray, I'm a bit dodgy about that because that's more colors I need to theme and all that. I'm currently thinking if there's a generic way I can use like color filters so it would work for dark and for light rather than having to define yet another color. Then that sounds like you've never had to work with Cold Fusion. You're a lucky man. Let me think. Is there a way I can avoid doing a background color? You didn't really do a background color, did you? You kind of just did the shadowy outline thing. So let me just steal that quickly, so I don't have to do it myself. Can I just do that? Let's just do that to make it extra pretty and have an idea where the thing is. Alright, so we probably don't want it there. We probably want it... Oh, well, maybe we do want it there. Maybe we do want it there. So where does the padding on that thing come from? Margin. Yeah, you probably want margin 0 here. Yeah. Put all the colors and font formatting underneath the sizing. Bike shedding. All right. I don't actually know if they'll work properly on what's the word? Blah, 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 if they work on the color theming and all that stuff. But I'm okay to use them for now. And probably don't want a margin of 2 rem or some small numbers. So we have a place where we can actually see the thing. Radios. Radios, amigos. Why don't I have it at the top? Why does the border radius only show at the bottom? Shouldn't it be working at the top as well? Ah, that's weird. Didn't expect that the label would overflow. I guess it would. Huh. CSS, first letter, uppercase. Is there like a sentence case text transform? I guess that'll do it. Alright. Alright. That actually kind of works already. So now, instead of all this shenanigans, this should work now. Did you have to fix that children thing as well, or were you working around that in a different way? Alright. So now on first blush, obviously that adds height on these guys. Let's see if we can do something with margins between them. 0.5 rem, 0.2 rem, maybe something like that. Yeah. And then we should be able to just do a clickety-click on the label. Is it pointer or a hand? I forget. Boom, click. All right. And then so let's just get rid of all this rubbish. So that's actually, I think that's a straight up fix. So I'm happy with putting that into it. I don't think this like should not be like I don't see any way that would behave differently than the old code. Let's have a look at the code. Maybe it'll tell us how you fixed it. Where's the framework? Let's see. Maybe you fixed it by just adding your own thing. Parent equals undefined. Setting item select. Multi. Oh, what happened here? I don't know why you had to change that. Oops, inner label inner. I'm guessing this. No, but these are there. Because this is not a diff against the actual code. It has other changes in with it. All right. Let's have a reference on our visual reference. So you have the little triangle on the left. Did you implement the triangle via SVG or HTML or like a Unicode character or something like that? Okay. Content. Oh, you implemented them as HTML? Didn't I do triangles already somewhere else? Didn't we do that in the calculator? Yeah, let's just use the same thing I did here. I think it's a Unicode character. Yeah. Ugh. So, setting group label. Setting group label. Can we go with before? And then just align on the left? I'm not sure if we can. So we probably don't want to do that. We probably want to do something like left. Okay. Display block. Position absolute. Probably don't want to do that. Or that. Display block width, height, line height, font size, line height 2.5, I guess. Margin top. Let's just get rid of all of this for now. Just get it in there. Okay. And we can do something like that. That gets indented by the outer padding as well. Really? That's not what I expected. God damn it. That's not what I wanted either. Quite clearly. I guess that's just where it is. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. I'm not too fond of the shape, actually. It's a bit pointy. And Unicode triangle. There must be another one. There are these. There are also these. You know what? Let's see if I can find the page I usually go to. I don't always find it. Ideally, I want the official one by Google. By Google. Nope. And I can these ones. If I get the proper one, which probably is called something like carré. Nope. Arrow. Expand, yeah. Chevron, that's the word. Don't I have a chevron icon already in our collection here somewhere? I feel like we've used a chevron before. I feel like I've done this one before. Icons. Here we go. Arrow forward. I'm using it on the back button. This guy. I guess we could use that one. Hey, yo, Joe. Oh man, sorry, man. Joe Hato. Jove Hato. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. No, you're not late. It's never too late. All right, let's just use that one. The only annoying thing is getting that into the CSS is a little bit not easy. So let's add it here somewhere. Create group, children, label, group, yada yada. Can we do style? So we can either add this icon directly as a child to label, or we can muck it and squish it into the CSS somehow. I think I'm just gonna do this. And then here we're just gonna put I guess, something like that. It appears. Oh. Oh, no, it did work. It did work. I think I see it here, disrupting that black line. Maybe. Yeah. So, the content goes there. So we can probably do something like... well, first of all, we're gonna get rid of that. Oh, hey, Shelby. Oh, alright, sorry. Yeah, you were on Twitch there. It's fine, it's fine. I'm glad that the chat actually worked. Because sometimes the restream chat doesn't pick up both. Alright, so. What was it? Something like this. Can we get the icon to where we want it to? Label icon. 1 second. Oh, I get messages. Yeah. All right. So it is down there. Now it should be higher up. Except it's all the way up there now. We do this. Will it screw everything up? No. No. Now if I do this. E. And then vertical. Something like this, maybe. Vertical align, middle. Line height. This weekend I actually play a video game on my to-do list. And I'm happy to announce that I ticked it off my list. So I'm guessing we have to do this. If we do this, and then margin up minus 50%, and then do this, or better even. Margin top, minus 50%. Vertical align, middle. Margin top, minus 50%. Does not seem to impress it. Margin top, minus 50%. Boom, no. Minus 12px, boom. No. Is it because this thing is inline? I guess it is. So if we do this, and it's starting to get a little complex, which is a bit annoying. So if we say display block, margin top, minus 50%. So that should now align the center of the icon with the top edge, and it does not. It does not. Ah, wait. Oh, What's going on here? So, aha. And now, we now say vertical line middle. It completely ignores it, but that's fine. Vertical line middle. Ah, what if we now do padding top 50%? Boom. How high is the padding? Nope. 1.25 gram. Boom. Aha! That's a little awkward. And if I do now transform, rotate 90 dig. Rotate. Alright, at least it's rotating roughly around the right spot. So we could do this. I'm not too happy about this, but it is what it is, right? If we do this now. Okay, they're all perfectly centered. If we do something like this, maybe they'll give us a little bit more breathing space. And I guess it should go... Oop. Did I screw up the styling? I think I did. Yeah, so it should rotate downwards. So the default here should be rotated to the right. Rotate 180. No. Transform. Rotate 180 degrees. There we go. And now it's pointing to the right. And now when we're clicking it, we want to expand the group. So by default, the groups want to be... so I want to style it that by default the groups are open. Like that. And then we can collapse them, right? So then we'll do something like... F handle collapse group. Collapse 2L. I'm just gonna guess here. Something like that. And handler. Now, I'm not sure where a handler goes on a label. Might have to get a little bit... Huh? No? That works. Okay. I should be able to... get more information out of there. Arcs, no, okay. Yeah, alright, we don't want window, so this is useless to us here. Mouse event. Mouse event. Dot. Target. Arcs. So, event. Event.target. And then we should just be able to toggle a class on it. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Dot class names, class list, toggle, closed. Okay. Boom, click, and sorry for the sound effects. Yeah. So now we can do a closed style. It'll look something like... no. We want target dot parent element class. Let's go. We want to do that. Boom. Da-da-da. Boom. Wait a second. Can I... I could potentially do it on the whole thing, right? Probably would help if I spell things correctly. Just a little bit. Yes. Okay, we can do that. That's good enough. So we can now just do dot closed. And here we're gonna do transform rotate. I guess just to the right is fine. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And then I'm gonna steal your styles again for the smooth animation. Sometimes they cause problems, but sometimes they're kind of smooth and sweet. Guess we're just gonna put that here. And then on top of this, we're going to height and probably do the same transition, right? Ugh. Ugh. Bit too fast. Yeah. So that's exactly where the problems come in, because you cannot animate from an auto height to an exact height, which is really annoying. And I don't know what. Yeah, you're just not doing that. The problem is when the dialogue jumps. Oh, because you're not resizing the dialogue. Did you do something specific there to keep the dialogue fixed? I'm guessing some of those changes in the styles were to make the dialogue's fixed height. Full dialogue. Is that what the full dialogue class is all about? So is that purely to stop the dialogue from changing? Not sure if I actually want that though. Do we really want that? I mean, this is obviously a problem. We can't have things moving, right? But the whole point is to fit more things in less space. So, you know. Also, why are these not being hidden by the overflow hidden there? What the hell? What the hell? Why? Group items. Oh. I forgot about that. We have setting group items. Setting group items. Dot. Setting group dot close dot setting group items. Height 0. I looked into this a while ago. And I think there was a sort of semi way of doing it, and I almost implemented like by using min height and all that sort of thing. But I don't think there's a real good way of doing it. Okay. So you're animating. Yeah, so this is the problem, right? So you can make max height really high and then animate max height to 0. The problem is your animation starts from whatever max height if your max height is 10,000, it animates from 10,000 to 0. And obviously, most of that doesn't change the actual box. And then, so your animation timing is completely off. Yeah. Scale, yeah, scale Y. And scale Y looks kind of... Ugh. Like, if I do... transform scale Y to 0, like, what would that look like? I don't think it's a good solution. Wait. I think I have to set it up to be whatever it was. Whatever I want it to be normally. Like scale Y. I mean, it just squishes everything, which might also look, whoops, might also look a bit weird. Yeah, this does not ease the transform here. Would the transition have to be here? Maybe? Oh, because I didn't remove the height 0. Yeah, to be honest, tab is what I wanted to do originally. The problem is, where do the tabs go, right? You don't have a lot of horizontal space on a phone, for example. The problem is, if the button is off screen, then this whole thing kind of loses the point. Like, the scrolling should... the back button should be on screen at this point. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you would need... Like, you can't fit tabs side by side. Ugh. Yeah, we'll probably... you'd want to do transform... Yeah. Translate... minus 50%. Something like that. I don't know. Oh, wait. Something like that. Ooh. It's terrible. But the bar is not wide enough. Like, if I want longer category names, then you what? You have a scrolling horizontal bar? No, it would be terrible. I mean, I'm also tempted to just do a very kind of, like in video game settings, where you just have multiple screens, where you have a menu screen for the groups, and then you just tap twice. You tap once, and then you tap into the group. No, not pure icons for this. It's too complex. Because in a video game settings menu, you tend to select your category first, right? Of course, a lot of video games are, but like even the SudokuPad mobile app, you actually have two layers, right? I mean, we don't need the animation, to be honest. Like, I'm fuffing about on something that, you know, we just really don't need. There's actually no harm in the animation happening here. Just get rid of that. Bring this back to 0.05. Problem is, right now, this, yeah. Right now, this, it kind of works because you can flick and scroll very easily. The problem is, by the time you're adding the categories, you're actually going to create more scrolling because you're taking away vertical space, right? Which is kind of ironic, is that the problem that the groups are supposed to solve, they're actually causing that problem initially, right? Also, overload. And when we're closed, we want to get rid of the bottom padding. Like that. Now, how to avoid the jumping? So you've added a minimum height. And I guess it might make sense for the settings dialog, because that's the one dialog that's always going to be relatively big. Like, part of me wants to say, hey, you know, we're going to paginate it basically, and these are our pages. But then part of me says, well, on a phone, scrolling up and down is actually quite easy. So why force people into that paradigm when they could just expand all of it, you know? But then, for example, having them all initially expanded is also pointless. They should initially be collapsed. And then they basically become a settings menu. Why are these not being hidden by overflow hidden? That is so bizarre. Is it because they're absolutely positioned? But it does. I don't care where they're positioned. I want them to be hidden when they're outside of the thing. Huh. Interesting. That is a bit bizarre, that visibility is affected by positioning in that way. Which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. So, and that's why you had to add a class to the dialog, because currently there's nothing distinguishing the settings dialog from any other dialog. Alright, that's fair. That is fair. Tag options. No. Show settings. Parts. Object assign. Show dialog. Opts. Parts. Class. Name. Dialog. Settings. Dialog is not being created with the class name in mind. Where's show dialog? Show dialog. Dialog options, class name, overlay class. We can define an overlay class, and it, wait a second, am I searching the right folder? I never used that feature. Nope, never used that feature. So we can use overlay class, and that should put a custom class on the overlay. So then, the thing is, I don't actually mind it taking up the whole space. You know, why not use the space on a small phone, for example? And then we want this to apply to dot dialog. All right, something like this. Now, the back button should really be bottom attached. Is there an easy way of doing that? If I do something like position, absolute, bottom, 0.5 rem, margin 0, auto, no, auto, 0, no, 0, auto, CSS, absolute center. I guess what we really want to do here is margin 0, 50%. or minus 50%. Oop. Minus 50%. Minus 50% of what? Minus 50% of what? Transform, translate, x 50%. Okay. So if we want to do that, let's just see. I mean, I'm not really happy about mucking around with all of this like that. Especially since dialog options is not uniquely identifying this button area, footer area. Now we could argue that all the buttons should always be bottom aligned. So we might actually make this a general thing. But then I also feel like maybe some things here should be generally rethought and redesigned to be exactly what we want it to be, and not just kind of shoehorning things that later on will break in other. So yeah, you see, that's already it. That's the thing, because we actually do want this to get pushed down under when the dialog is too small. The other option could be to scroll the elements separately from the back button. The thing is, you don't need the back button, because the back button just closes it, right? You can just click anywhere to close it. It's just, I mean, there is technically no problem with this. It just looks odd. It just looks odd. CSS attach element to bottom of parent without overlapping the contents. I guess I can use flex. Display flex. I don't like that, because flex brings a lot of baggage. I was gonna say garbage. Baggage with it. You see what I mean? And then I have to kind of rebuild the design all over again for flex. Ooh. Wait. Yeah, you see, for example, this scrolls the individual groups, which is not what I want. Yeah, no, it's not what we want at all. What if... what if I just say bottom 0 or 0.5 rem? No. I think for that I need to position it, which is what I don't want to do. Maybe relative positioning? Nope. It does work for this part, but for this part, it basically just ignores this. Ah, wait a second. Maybe it doesn't. It's absolute positioned. Then why would it not respect the bottom? Because I thought maybe the bottom is actually there. Maybe whatever is enclosing it has shrunk to enclose it, but it's not. So bottom 0.5, moving it at all doesn't make any sense. Is it because of display flex? No. Yeah, I don't think that's important. I want to get the core functionality working. So this is all right. It reduces the jumping. We'll probably need to... The problem is certain settings suddenly become harder to find. So the question is, should it default to open? In which case, we've just made the situation worse because most people are not going to change it. It's like a power user feature, which it's supposed to be the opposite. Do we have a default category with like the most important settings and have that one open, right? So probably what we'll have to do is we'll have to have sort of a category with kind of, I don't know what we're going to call it, right? General, right? And then that has the stuff, or maybe the gameplay category is a good candidate. You know, a category that people are going to be using the most of the time. And then obviously, you know, wait. Right now, undefined goes into a separate group. But I was actually originally wanting to be able to have items that aren't in any group. So what if we do filter boolean here? Whoops, wrong button. Yes, no. If name... Right. So that should take that one out. And then we'll do... we'll just do groups. Undefined. Make sure we've got an array here. Do settings.push. That undefined. Dot map to this. I think that should do the trick. Yeah. I'm not sure if I like it, but this shouldn't really be the case. This should be basically just for maybe new tools that get thrown in. Otherwise, I'd have to have like a REST group or something, or a miscellaneous group, which is not super useful. And then the question becomes, what's the initial state of the group, if the group is collapsed or not? And do we want to define that for a group? And we probably do. Do we want to do it I mean, this works so far for the basic functionality, right? The jump will happen initially because it enlarges larger than 50%. Will it do that here as well? If I go to here. Yeah, so there'll be an initial jump to 90% and then that's it. I think your styling is a little bit more discreet because it's not bolded like that. But that's obviously fine. Yeah, it'll be persisted. But again, that's a power user thing, right? The initial state needs to be good enough for the non-power user. This is supposed to help power users don't really have a problem with the complex settings dialog as it is now, right? So we want to hide away all the little things that people don't care about, like high peaking Sven and stuff like that, right? And then the stuff that Simon asks people to change for a specific puzzle, this thing people will change regularly, that's the stuff we want to bring to the forefront, right? So, for example, something like large digit, even though it's a visual thing, I actually want that to be in the main category. And then the question becomes, do we want to have the same setting in two different places, right? So for example, if we now create, and I don't know if gameplay is the right, I need a good name for a sort of a category that has the most important stuff in it. Like primary, important. By the way, Mark, why are you bouncing between Twitch and YouTube? That is kind of funny. What's a good name? General? Something like that. I wonder if the group name should just be capitalized how I want it to be. Instead of trying to auto-capitalize it, you know? And then maybe getting it wrong. Yeah, the group names are too big. They don't need to be this big. And these toggles could be a little smaller. Maybe 2 isn't big enough. And no. Maybe. You made them quite large. Touch targets and all that, right? So the question is, why is this not being sorted at the top now? So that means it's possible that tools gets hit earlier. Okay, so then we want a... Alright, one sec. Settings, 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 create group, settings, show settings, settings, handle collapse group, create group. So add group. Right. And here we want to be able to put in, you know, kind of additional information about the groups. Modification. That doesn't sound very clear. No, like I don't want all these things available, right? I want a group that has sort of the shortcuts, right? The stuff that people, most of that stuff people shouldn't have to change, right? But for example, something like dashed grids, yeah, like things specifically for to support specific puzzle types, right? The stuff they need to change per puzzle. I mean, I'm almost tempted to call it puzzling or something like that. Puzzle aids, but they're not really aids. They should be stuff that the app should do automatically, but doesn't, basically. So we have setting options that gets initialized somewhere. Setter tool. No, they're not setter tools. They're solver tools. The problem is if I call it solving tools, it'll be confusing with the actual tools group, right? So let's do this. Add a group. I'll do this. And that'll be similar to our other singular plural functions. All right. And now we have to merge the new settings dumpster. Gee, thanks. No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite of advanced tools. They got to be at the top and they're got to be visible. They're the main tools, right? The main stuff that people need to know about. And then all the other stuff is the advanced stuff. I mean, we could... no. So, I mean, we could group everything under advanced, but then what? Then we have a 2-level grouping? I don't know. You know, do we then have advanced tools and then visual and stuff underneath that? Or we do it the other way around. We put the main stuff in the categories as planned, and then we just selectively remove stuff from there and put them in advanced. But then that could be a little bit confusing, right? Because, for example, the replay tool is definitely a tool, but it's definitely super advanced, and most people shouldn't, you know, ever deal with that, right? And the killer calculator, don't know. I mean, maybe that is the solution. Maybe we'll get these tools down. I mean, things like the letter tool is a bit tricky because people need access to it, but at the same time, the advanced part of selecting which kind of letter tool, that should definitely be under advanced, right? So maybe that is the solution. Maybe instead of general, we do the opposite and we'll have advanced here. We'll do something like that. Now the question is, how do I merge this with me managing? Like, I can do it two ways, right? I can basically create on-the-fly groups for group names that I haven't encountered yet, or ignore ones that haven't been explicitly created up front and treat them as if they're not part of a group. I have those two options. Let me try something here. I think I'm gonna go with the first one. So let's first have a look what we have here. And then we'll have a look at this thing. And see what they look like on startup, right? So clear this. So we have our 4 groups and we have these things, right? Now the 4 groups happen to contain these except undefined. So what if what if instead of making these into an object, we'll map them like this, right? And then we're going to return an object with a name where this is just name. And then items becomes, you know, this list. Setting ops filter group setting ops filter group name. And then we probably want to do the mapping to a settings element as well, like that. And then it'll look like something like this, I guess. All right. Boom. So we have the groups. And now or we clean this up Sorry, I'm not, like, I'm just thinking, like, this was a bit of a quick hacky thing anyways. So what I'm thinking right now, the smoothest thing would be to just loop through our items. So okay, we start out with our existing group set. So we take our group settings, we clone them or whatever. Then we loop through our items. If the group is in our set, we just add the item to the list of items for that group. If the group isn't in the set, we add that group and do the same thing until we're done. And now we have a full description of what it should look like, including our undefined whatever, right? The other alternative would be to go the other way around, right? So we have this sort of preliminary splitting of our item into these groups. Now we're looping through the groups. But I think that's actually going to be more complex, right? So let grouped items equal. So that's an array. Right. And what we're going to do now is gonna get rid of all of that. Gonna output that. And we're just going to, well, we're going to call this groups. Right. And now we're going to go through these guys. Item, right? And that should just output all the items with their respective groups. Like this, right? Some of them are undefined, yada, yada, yada. So we can do let's setting group equals dot find until a group with name, which matches this, right? So some of them will find one of these and some of them won't. Okay. But we actually want to look into groups first, right? Same thing. Here, on the other hand, we won't find anything initially. Right? Group undefined. So if group equals undefined, then we'll do this. And we'll let new group equals no. So actually, new group is an empty group. And then we'll do if setting group equals undefined, right? And the new group should have items in it. And then here new group equals new group dot name equals item dot group, and new group dot label equals item group, and let's JavaScript capitalize. I think I have that function sitting somewhere already. Quite embarrassing if I'm gonna recreate that one. Capitalize. I probably have it in this code base somewhere. Maybe in the parsing section somewhere. So we do this, and then output what our new group is here. Whoa. If group equals undefined, group equals group.name, yada yada yada. So at the end of it all, we end up with a group object that should be correctly initialized one way or another. So let's have a quick look here. So group undefined, we find a setting group. Setting group is not undefined. We could also do this here as a sort of initialization, right? And then do this instead. Object.assign group setting group, and that should clone all our icons and all that such stuff over. So now we ended up with this char at. Yeah. Okay. Now group comes back as undefined. If group equals undefined, oh no, not second let here. So first group is undefined, second group is undefined. We end up with this label, yada yada yada. Okay. And then we'll do if group equals undefined, group equals groups.push group. And then we're gonna output groups at the end. And then what we can do is we can kind of filter through. We have like three levels, you know, default, predefined, auto-generated, and all that stuff. And group dot items dot push item. That should give us the items into those groups. So for example, the undefined group has 10 items, the visual group has 4 items, yada yada yada. Here we end up with 4 groups, and in this order. Now the order currently is determined by how we encounter the items, but it should actually be organized by the groups, the existing groups. So we probably want to preload them. So we probably want to preload these and kind of do this, really. So groups initially will have some sort of list here, and then this should find them. Candidate properties undefined reading push. Groups. It's the items one, right? If groups.items equals well, if, you know what, I'll just do this. Map group object dot assign items empty group, and that will automatically create a shallow copy. Now we should have an object with an items array guaranteed. So in our initial groups array here, we have empty item arrays, and it got added undefined and general. Because one of the items says general, yeah, and this is exactly what I want. The only thing on top of that is that now we want to do the same thing with the undefined. We want to filter out the undefined. So basically, groups for each, like this. Group if name, if group dot name. God damn it! Ended up in the wrong place. It's undefined. Return. Else, create group. Group dot name. It should really be this. Create group, and the group, this one, now we'll change this to use items instead of settings. And ops dot label or ops dot name or group. And children. Like that. And now settings parts is not defined. Setting group, group setting parts. All right. Hopefully that will get us back to having a dialogue. So now we have gameplay tools, visual advanced. Now we want to filter out the empty ones as well. If group.name is undefined, or group.items.length 0. And then groups undefined. Groups dot find name equals undefined. Just make sure that the undefined items go to the bottom of the list and are added outside of a group. That's why I didn't add it as a regular group. Find name equals undefined and another brace to close it. So we have the undefined items, and then we'll just do let undefined group equals this, and then if undefined group and undefined group dot items dot length then 0, which should always be the case since we're only creating this on the fly if items exist. And then we just should be able to do this. No. We should be able to do this define group. And I think this has already happened then. Dot items. And that should add the remaining items at the bottom. Now they do look broken here, so that's something we have to be careful about. Why do they look broken? Danger. Okay. But now we can predefine certain properties about the groups. We can have items outside of the groups. And we can predefine the order of the groups. Yeah. So for example, yes, we have a gameplay group, but it doesn't include any items, so it doesn't get listed. And then, for example, conflict checker would be group gameplay. And bada bing, bada boom, we have a gameplay item at the top, and it's in the sort order that we've predefined. So now we can look at this reference. So gameplay, conflict, check on finisher, hide solved, right? So we can just take this. We have check on finished and hide already solved. Hide solved. Here we go. Oop, didn't want to refresh that one. Here we go. What time is it? Oh, I'm late. I was supposed to walk the dog at 8. Let's see if we can just categorize everything quickly, and then we're done. So then the large digits off. Yeah. So now our so now the idea is we create an advanced group, and we put all the less important stuff into the advanced group, and all the primary stuff into these groups. And then these groups hopefully will be short enough that we can just have them visible, right? And then, for example, selection style is something very few people nowadays change. So that'll just go into advanced, for example. And then the last thing is to basically predefine if the group is collapsed, starts open or closed, right? I gotta see why this no longer picks up the existing setting. That is a dangerous breakage. All right, let's categorize these then. So keypad, for example, I'm just going to put this under advanced because it's like, it's not something a lot of people will do. Hide, Sven, seek, these are all advanced. Support links, advanced. Hide timer. I think that's going to go under advanced. Dashed grid now would go, I guess, under visual. I guess. I mean, it's almost gameplay, right? Because for Slitherlink, it's only a visual thing, but a lot of people might consider it, you know, hey, to play Slitherlink, you need a dash grid kind of thing. I don't know. Let me just check the chats if I'm missing anything. Hey, never shut up, Shelby. The more people chat, the better for the channel. This one is uncategorized, so that's so that's stuff that's getting added in external third-party files, right? Third-party. Still doing it all myself, but so that would be the letter tool, and it'll create. So the toggle itself would be under tools, and then this would be under advanced, I guess. So then advanced has this. Why is general down there? Oh, because one of these has general. Yeah. So then we don't have the duplicate stuff either. Like multicolor mode, I don't think that's important enough anymore. I think very few people disable multicolored, even though it's a visual setting, you know what I mean? So I understand it kind of breaks the categories a bit, right? Like outlines on digits, definitely advanced. So digit outlines advanced, even though it's a visual setting. And it'll be a bit confusing because obviously somebody will think, hey, that's visual. I'm going to look under visual settings and not see it. Hide colors, same. Hide colors. Hide colors is not a very frequently used setting. In fact, most people still set 2 copies of the puzzle with 2 links. Now replay tool, definitely advanced, right? So that's being added as well externally. Now, the one thing we cannot affect is the order of these things. So conflict checker, because these aren't even the most important now, are they? Hide already solved. Yeah, for example, hide already solved once again becomes an advanced tool. So hide solved becomes advanced. Now, let's say state closed. True. So if we do this, and then under framework, we'll say create group, options, class name, set and group type. Now the open or close state class is on setting a group. So if we're gonna do ops.closed, that's true. We're gonna add this. Else, we're gonna have an empty string. Yeah, it's an empty string. Ooh, that didn't work at all. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna finish soon and then walk Toby. I definitely screwed something up. I thought I was spaced there initially. Closed. Ah, I think we need this. And if ops closed equals true. Did I just? Oh, yeah, I just did that, which is was not the intention. And now obviously we need to actually combine it with the actual persistent state. All right, so now this is a lot more manageable. To be honest, almost having just the advanced toggle might have been enough, actually. The other groups don't really need to be toggleable. Maybe that's what I should have gone for. Just have an advanced toggle. Food for thought. Dark mode is also definitely advanced. Dark mode. There we go. So what's in here now? We have the button mode, the selection mode, selection type, dark mode, keyboard, multicolor, hide timer, outline on digits, hide peeking Sven. Now, why are these not being initialized correctly? They should be. And they are not. So that's definitely something I've broken. All right, I don't have time to fix that now. So, but the core functionality, I think, To be honest, I'm rethinking now, if we only have the advanced group and the others are ungrouped, maybe that's all we need. So if I do everything that's not advanced, right, and I get rid of the group, just quickly to see what it would look like, roughly. Right, like if it was something like this, and then obviously we would want them as above the advanced instead of below. And then advanced for all the other stuff. Food for thought. Food for thought. And it's not too far off of Mark's design, I think. There's something here where the colors are a bit fainter. Maybe that's something we want. This is a bit strong, but I don't know if he just adjusted all the colors. It almost seems like it. This seems to be just a deeper purple. So pen tool, letter tool, killer calculator. Large digits, important for killer Sudoku. Hide colors, actually not really important. I don't think many people actually use that. Tools, visual, gameplay. And now we have potential to add more things in, because we've been hee-hawing about adding too many settings. And then maybe just rearrange them a little bit, organize them a little bit more logically. Maybe tools is now the more important one, so that should be doable by just doing that. These aren't actually super important either, to be honest. But they're the sort of thing people would want to use. Alright, I'm actually quite happy with the progress. It's like we had to do some small things in underlying stuff like this, but that's more like a fix to me. And then everything else is just additional stuff. It's not like... It's very unlikely to have major conflicts. So let's separate these a little bit. Groups, and then here do like to do persist group state, fix default values on multi select. I think those are the main things. And then maybe sort / organize settings. All right, that's it actually. This change won't go on to test as it is. I definitely need to fix it up first. And I don't know when I'll manage. Maybe this encourages me to try to do another stream this week. But you know, working on debugging Android game issues all day, it can get quite tasking. And then the last 2 weeks I have had no mind for a stream after working all day. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. This is Sven Codes. Thanks for joining this Hangout. Code Hangout number 53. And I hope I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.